Everyone wants to get leaner, they want to build more muscle, they want to get stronger, they want to live a healthier lifestyle, but very few are actually doing what it takes to achieve these results. Look in any gym, 9 out of 10 people you see there are going to be stuck with the exact same physique for months, even years. And in this video, I want to make sure you become that rare 1 out of 10 people who quote unquote get it. I'm going to share with you 3 huge mistakes that prevent most people from ever achieving their physique goal, and I promise you that if you avoid this, you're going to start seeing some amazing results. Which brings me to mistake number 1, and that is running away from diet accountability. Look, if you're not very serious about getting lean and you want to be more casual about the whole process, I think that's totally fine. I respect that. But at the end of the day, we have to be honest here, because a lot of people do reach out and they say they want to get to that 10 to 15% body fat range. They want to see their abs for the first time in their life. But when I look at their plans, they have no form of accountability in there whatsoever. And one of the obvious signs that they're running away from diet accountability is that they're not even tracking their food intake. Realistically, if you can't be bothered to write down what you ate in an app like MyFitnessPal, what can you expect? How important is this goal to you? How committed really are you? Because at the end of the day, it's not even about tracking the days that you're really doing well on your diet. It's about tracking those days when you fall off. It's those sessions of overeating. It's those weekends when you went YOLO. It's those restaurant meals where you want to break down that meal into the calories, into the macros to see if you got enough protein. That's really where a lot of the learning comes from, and that's where a lot of the accountability comes from, because you're then forced to make a better decision next time. You're forced to face the reality and the objective truth. And yeah, sure, you can avoid the accountability and not track and not do the extra work, and it's going to feel good in the moment not to face your mistakes and all of that, but you're really missing out on the gains in the long term. Now, am I saying that you should be tracking every single gram of food for the rest of your life? No, that's not the goal here. But in this moment, right now, tracking your food intake is a low-hanging fruit habit that you can implement to gain some self-accountability and start seeing some better results. Now, speaking of results, if you're struggling with consistency, this brings me to mistake number 2, which is that your diet is probably way too complicated. Remember, the 3 most important things when it comes to getting lean with your diet are creating a calorie deficit, sufficient amount of protein every single day, and then making sure you're eating a healthy diet. Your success on this journey really does depend on your consistency with these 3 things, and of course also hitting the like button. Now, if you need help with that consistency, one methodology that I found works really well is something I call simplify before you optimize. So instead of getting overwhelmed with all the food choices that are available to you to hit your calories and macros, I recommend building your diet out meal by meal. For example, you create a high protein breakfast or meal 1 or whatever you want to call it with ingredients that you really do like, and you commit to eating that same meal every single day. And that's with minimal variance. And what this does, it sets up every day for success, but also becomes the foundation of your entire diet, because you're hitting the right numbers, makes it much easier to track because it's the same food every single day. And then from there, you can add a little bit more complexity. I'm a really big fan of having multiple staple meals like this that I can rely on, that have 3 to 5 ingredients that I can always put together without much overthinking. Because as an entrepreneur, I have to be very mindful of my mental bandwidth and understand that I don't have time to micromanage my diet every single day. And dieting is already pretty hard to begin with. Why would I want to make it even harder by adding too much variety when things are complicated? So my suggestion here for you is simplify first, master consistency, and then you can add more variety and optimization later on. And this brings me to mistake number 3, which is not reverse engineering your own experiences. On this journey, one of the most important questions you need to keep asking is why. This is both when you're winning and when you're failing. If you've just fallen off track, you need to ask yourself, why did I fall off track? Where did my plan fail? Or did I fail because I didn't have a plan to begin with? The same applies for when you're on track. You need to ask yourself, why am I on track right now? What is different between these 7 days that I've been nailing it versus the last week when things just fell apart and I went YOLO mode? And that contrast now gives you real feedback, real data that's applicable to you, because there's no one single best way for all of us to get lean. And by reverse engineering your own experiences, you're getting custom, personalized personalized feedback to improve your process that will help you get more consistent. And that's really what matters at the end of the day. It's what works best for you as a unique individual. And instead of worrying and trying out different diets and whatnot and being stressed out about it, now be more curious about your own process, be more curious about what's happening in your life, focus on mastery, focus on nailing this, and you're gonna really see some exceptional results because you're gonna master consistency, which at the end of the day is the most important element for success. What's gonna help you get there faster is making sure hit that subscribe button below, enable notifications to get up to date with all the future videos, but hitting that bell icon. Details for coaching are in the description below as well if you want to work with me. And also I'm gonna leave a video here at the end that's really gonna help you out on your journey. So check out that video and I'm gonna see you right there.